The morning the slab was being poured, the groundworkers announced that they'd also be doing the Soakaway. As they were power floating the slab, there'd be quite a bit of waiting around to do, waiting for the concrete to go off a bit. So they thought they'd kill two birds with one stone. That meant I was fairly unprepared for this. I had a vague idea I wanted the Soakaway about where that digger bucket is at the moment. So I discussed it with them. They kind of listened, but they'd already bought the pipes and were expecting to dig a Y-shaped channel with each pipe being equidistant from the building, leaving the Soakaway a bit further away from the fence line than I was expecting. Before you know it, there's a digger parked on your wildlife area, and there's a tractor and trailer in your back garden. Why do we have Soakaways in the UK? It's a bit of a hot topic with planning and building regulations in this day and age. All new buildings basically need to have Soakaways. Flooding has been a real problem in the UK in the last 20 years for whatever reason. We have this general problem in the UK that our drainage, our sewers, are combined with rainwater and sewage in the same pipe. Now that's cheaper because you don't have to lay one pipe. It also means that there's a constant flow, so you don't get as many blockages being backed up. But what it does mean that all of that volume gets sent to the sewage treatment works, so you end up having to treat rainwater because it's all mixed up with sewage. So that's one problem, is it's quite expensive to treat all this effluent. The second problem is that when it really gets stormy and you get a deluge of rainwater, the sewage treatment works can't cope, so they have to divert a lot of that rainwater basically directly down to the river. So you get a lot of untreated effluent not going through the sewage works to prevent the sewage works basically getting damaged and overflowing. And that's essentially what the Tideway Tunnel in London is. It's basically a massive reservoir to hold all of the stuff that would have gone into the Thames and hold it and store it there so they can be processed later after the storm has disappeared. The Victorian mentality was, let's get the water into the watercourses as quickly as possible, get it down to the sea as quickly as possible. That was the strategy. Unfortunately, there's always a bottleneck, so you increase the flow of water. It floods one town, they build flood defences, then the town downstream gets flooded all of a sudden. The modern philosophy is basically to hold all that water back where it starts. So we retain the water, hold it back, and that in many cases is trying to incentivise farmers to let their fields flood so that it saves all the houses that were built in floodplains further downstream. So what that means is any new rooftops or impermeable surfaces like driveways or roofs, gutters, have to drain into a soakaway on your own land, so it percolates down into the groundwater and it doesn't just go straight into the watercourses and cause a massive flow. Even though my house and all the houses around me and the driveway at the front of my house drain onto the highway or straight into the sewer, any new buildings have got to drain into a soakaway. So that's basically where we're at, and that's why you see so many people in the UK building soakaways on the extensions they build. I also had to choose what I filmed the time-lapse of. So I chose the slab because I thought that was more important. But there's a bit of a soakaway you can see in the corner. And then the digger drove into the camera, which actually helped give a better view of what he was trying to do, which was mash the bedrock into the topsoil. Check out the absolute carnage. So there's one there. And the soakaway is about here. Yeah, so I'm going to do some topsoil work. This was our wildlife area. It's quite a bulge here. This was pretty flat, so I'm going to have to do something with that. It's going to take a while. This was our lawn, full of rock. I was going to replace the lawnmower, but there's probably no point, seeing as it's going to be blunting the blade for the next 5 years. Yeah. what we've been working on today is basically doing all these fixing the groundworks. And I didn't really film it because I was in a bad flipping mood all day, because with a bit of thought, you know, they could have sorted this out properly. What we essentially had was, we had basically the rocky subsoil at ground level, and they put topsoil on top of that. So not only was it proud, but you had like massive rocks poking through. Like, essentially this is all the rock we've got out of it. You see that there? So we've been filling up this here. It rocks like that at the surface. All these rocks all along here. So yeah, I think it was definitely worth doing, but I'm just so happy with what we've done here. It's amazing. We've got these bits of subsoil to get rid of, but essentially what we did was scraped off the topsoil from the mound, put that to the side, excavated about 3 or 4 inches. So this is the Soakaway here. You can see that there, across there, back here. There's one trench going there, one trench going there. So we excavated all that about 3 or 4 inches deep, which is this subsoil that came out, which was basically its surface level. Scraped up all the subsoil that was still laying. There was like an inch of subsoil over the top of the previous ground level of the grass. And all over here, cleared all this up, scraped all the rocks out of the grass, sieved everything that came out, left about 2 inches there, and then put the topsoil in, having sieved all that as well. You can see it looks like sieved ground, but it's just tiny little bits and pieces. I improvised with a door and some chicken wire to do a bit of sieving. Yeah, so now that is incredible. There's a bit of a bump in there, but that's virgin ground. That's original ground. Doesn't need to be like a snooker table or a bowling green. I just didn't want massive flipping rocks poking up through the grass. So now we're pretty confident. We've just got rid of all the big rocks, at least within the first couple of inches. So yeah, there we go. And this is the gully. So yeah, that's floor level. Gully's around about there. I've tested it and it all drains, which is good. But we've added to our big old pile. This is a whole lot of extra rock that came out. So it was like that. And then we've added all that before I realised we could start backfilling it around here. Makes you realise what you can do with 2 people whilst parenting as well. I mean, the kids were like, we were paying them like pocket money per bucket of stones they moved, which was great. They did a good shift, but kids have only got so much attention span. That's done. I wasn't expecting them to do the Soakaway, but now they've done it. So I mean, that's all ticked off, and we've now landscaped this, which is good. So we had to do it today because, you know, the ground is so dry. It's excellent for working on and for sieving. We've hardly had any rain since April, really. It's been really dry summer. This week it's going to turn, but it's basically the end of the summer this week. Last week of August it's going to be wet, so really had to happen today. So tomorrow's bank holiday Monday. It's funny, last bank holiday we were shifting mud as well for the beginning of this project, so here we are a year later. Anyway, next steps are bricklayers sometime in the week. I've got an electrician coming to change the consumer unit and do the preparation for wiring or sending a feed off to the garage, so that's happening this week. Yeah, things kicking on.